we all have things buried deep.
For some of us, it's intentional. For others, it could be a survival tactic.
But in order for you to heal and grow into your purpose,
Into who you were truly meant to be, sometimes you gotta have those uncomfortable conversations.
man, it's time we unpacked.
By your spirit, Lord Father God, I thank you. I praise you. I give you all the glory and honor. Thank you for blessing us with this time, this place, this moment. I ask that you bless the engineer, his hands, his eyes. Bless the space, the stage, the hearts and minds of the people that are attached to this process. The idea, let it be guided by your will, Lord Father God. I ask that you continue to shine through us and allow us to do your work. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Welcome to another episode of Unpacked. I am Aaron Eason, aka Mr. Always Good, Never Bad.
And I'm Greg Figaro, aka Felony Fit.
And today, we are unpacking with a beautiful soul. Someone I think I've been following her for about what, 4 years now, which is like, and I don't know if she knows what it looked like for herself 4 years ago, but her maturation through, I guess, Instagram has been phenomenal to watch. Um, I don't know too much about her though, and she might be mad at me for this, but I'm gonna need you to edify yourself, Miss Kiana. I really am, because I think you will do a better job letting people know who you are and where you've arrived than I will.
Okay.
How you doing?
I'm good. Honored to be here.
Thank you.
Excited
Honored to have you.
to unpack. So,
Tell us about yourself.
yeah, I mean, that's a broad question.
All right, so where are you as far as the hats you wear and the roles you play?
Ooh. First and foremost, woman of God. I'm a mother. I am an entrepreneur. I have about 3 businesses. Uh, and I'm just doing God's work.
Okay. Okay. Um,
There's a lot there.
Yeah.
hold
You
on.
know, there's a lot there. She
Um,
simplified it for us, but there's a lot there.
Right.
There's a lot there. So I guess the main question is, how did you arrive at the space you're in now? You know, to be able to come up here and be vulnerable with us,
Yeah.
it takes some introspection over the years. It takes some bumps, some bruises, some trials, some tribulations to be able to come up in a space like this and help people heal and give advice when you're still a student of life yourself. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, how do you lead by that example? Like, how do you do that?
So I can honestly say that right now, I feel like I'm in a place where, and this is, God is so strategic, right? Because I feel like right now, I'm in a place of totally trusting Him. And
Facts.
since I'm totally trusting Him, I feel like He feels He can trust me to sit here and to unpack. So, getting here, it was a journey. It definitely wasn't easy, but I couldn't do without Him.
Facts.
So I know that I'm here only by the grace of God. Um, I know that we're early on into this, but going through 2 divorce. My dad passed when I was 15. I left a job with no money, nothing saved, but I just had this vision of me helping people. Now, did I know what that looked like? I didn't have the blueprint, but I knew what I wanted to do, and I said, God, if it don't work out, I'll just get a job. I'll get
Now,
another job.
if you don't mind me cutting you off and asking you, like, as a 15-year-old, like, what we talk about here, I mean, had to be like, it couldn't be any more illustrated, because as a 15-year-old, there's no way you know how to deal with that. So there had to be certain things that you packed away in that bag that didn't bubble to the surface until a point in your life you probably weren't even prepared for it.
or maybe still haven't.
So, it's
It's the
crazy.
platform,
I
you
got
know.
it. I'm here for it. So look, he said he just started following me 4 years ago. And 4 years ago is when I finally unpacked the passing of my dad.
Okay.
Facts.
I didn't go to the grave site. I went to the funeral. I literally saw my father dying. And so that was nothing for a 15-year-old to go through,
Right.
but I did. So my story is not me going to the funeral and just mourning the loss of my father. It was me holding that in, saying I'm okay, being strong. And it didn't take up until 4 years ago, I had an encounter with God that felt like a loss. And it drove me back to
Hmm.
his passing.
Mm.
And so God said, daughter, I know what you want to do, but you're going to have to deal with this
Yeah,
in order to
Facts.
go forward.
yeah.
Right?
Unpack
Facts.
that bag.
Yeah.
Were
So,
you able to identify the things that you hid behind?
yes. For a long time, my mom was like, you need to go to counseling. Let's go to therapy.
Oh, a black person said that?
My mother is
Because
black.
black people that
My
we
mama
talk
is
about that
black.
up here now. Black folks,
It's
black folks.
very,
That's
very,
like
very
public enemy number one for black
No, no,
folks,
no.
especially black men, and that's why we do this
Yeah.
because
taboo.
therapy. I mean, if we're therapeutic, if
Yeah.
we're here for our brother,
Yeah.
that then we start to question sexuality. We start to question everything that our culture tells us is not becoming of the alpha male.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because as black men, we're so taught and programmed by generations upon generations to just put your head down and grind and
Right.
survive. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
But here's the thing: we're not intended to live in survival mode. God
right,
didn't.
Wow.
God
you're
didn't.
100% right.
But
You know,
Talk
that's
he
about
didn't
it.
create
weird. I
us.
mean,
Talk about
my
it.
entire life, I
We
lived in
weren't.
survival mode.
Yeah, I know, and I'm
And
out of that now.
I came to this conclusion
Mm-hmm.
with my mom, where we sat down together. This actually matured from a little project I did with her,
Yeah.
and I realized like, yo, there's a lot of power in unpacking,
Right.
and I realized that the reason why a lot of the things that weren't changing is because I fixed problems only to survive, not to
Right.
thrive, not to
Right.
come out and be an example and then help
And you
people out of
couldn't
this
live at your full potential.
ever. And also I said this before. It feels like sometimes I'd be taking breaks
Mm-hmm.
from my problems,
Mm-hmm.
like vacations,
Yeah. We
only
run.
to
Yeah.
come back and survive the BS. So
Only to realize that they've
But they're still there,
surmounted,
though.
they're
Yeah, they
still
don't
there, but
leave.
they've accumulated interest. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like when you neglect shit, and you don't address shit. I mean, I'm speaking from experience.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't go away. You know what I'm saying? And that's the same. I mean, we talking bills, we talking emotions,
Yes.
we talking anything.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You neglect it and you don't deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes back to show itself, it's gonna be at the most inopportune time. You can guarantee. You bet your last dollar. It's gonna be when you don't need it. Like
Yeah.
you don't need it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's why, you know, we thrive to be in a place where, like A always says, where we can deal with things so fast and we can identify things so fast that it just becomes a blip on our radar. We don't even, like we can
because
deal
we're a
with it
part of the
in that
moment,
moment.
Yeah.
knowledgeable enough to know that it's just the moment.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you start to acknowledge the things that's in your bag. You go through your bag, and now, what is going through your bag doing to you?
Mm.
What are you looking at the mirror like? Like, what does it look like when you see yourself at this point?
I'm very vulnerable. I will say that. And if I didn't stay connected to God, I would fall for anything in that stage because I'm weak. I need help. I'm looking for love in all the wrong places. Going through things that I probably don't even have to face. Um, but I would say, like, in that 4 years ago, um, he really took me to a place that felt like near death. And you look back at it now, and it wasn't that it was near death. It was just that what was inside and what I suppressed and put down and pushed down so far down, it was time for it to come out.
And it became overwhelming.
It was it was a point of no return. It was like, yeah, so God was like, yeah, this is this encounter. You're gonna have it. You're gonna be okay,
That's a story.
right?
Yeah,
And I got you.
I'm gonna get you
Yeah.
through it.
And the first day it started, I remember I have a closet, a prayer closet, and I went in this closet and I said, God, I can't do this without you. I know it's going to hurt, but I have to walk through this process.
Right.
But I'm not going to do it without you.
So you had a spiritual walk that was strong at the time.
It was I was on the verge.
It was
I
actually
like,
where you got stronger.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
do you think that was part of the journey, the
It
necessity
had to
of the
happen.
journey
It had to
for
happen.
your relationship with God to become a little bit stronger?
Because we have encounters. And
Yeah.
it's only to get closer to him anyway.
Well, we was actually talking about this leading up to the show, like actually on the way here, and that leads me to ask the question, like in those moments, you know, yeah, you're a woman of faith and unapologetically so.
Yeah.
But in those moments, we were talking about, I was raised with the Bible, but I
We all do.
veered, very, very far from that. You know what I'm saying? But I will say that I'm knowledgeable enough to know and call into mind certain scriptures.
Yeah.
And in those moments, were you like the Job type character? Were you cursing God in those
So right.
moments? Or were you
Yeah.
strong enough to be like, even though life is fucked up, I understand that this is only a moment. Like, were
I don't
you?
think anybody really does that.
I'm saying you'd be surprised. You'd be
Nah,
surprised
people
that
really do be mad at God though.
Oh, well, no. First of
People.
all, what he just said, I don't think was that. Yes, I remember I was 18 years old.
Uh-huh.
My girlfriend passed away.
Okay.
This is the second most important person in my life that has gone, that
Mhm.
was close to me, that I felt love for.
Yeah.
One I didn't know how to feel love for at the time. I was too
Right.
young. Another one I was super in love with. I thought she was
Mhm.
gonna be my wife.
Right.
18 years old,
Right.
but I'm a man. I'm
Yeah.
Yeah,
more
so
of a
you
man than I
thought,
thought I
yeah.
was,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Facts.
And I was the praying type.
Mhm.
I was the Bible reading type. I was in college with a mission.
Okay.
I just had a different mindset. And once that happened, I went left.
Mhm.
Like my mentor was such a wise man. He
Mhm.
was always giving me scriptures
Mhm.
and principles. And that's kind of how I became who I become on Instagram, where I sit down and just kind of drop jewels and stuff, because it comes from a space where I was raised that way from my
Mhm.
mentor. And once he passed away, I just clocked out. I all the way clocked out,
Mm.
because at that same time I was going through a divorce. So I'm saying, yeah, I don't trust you, bro.
How old were you?
So my first situation was 18,
Yeah.
and like it took so much for me to figure out like how to keep him in tune. But at that time I clocked out.
Okay.
I wasn't really who I needed to be.
Okay.
And then I grew up in a very very church going home. I grew up in the
Mhm.
community, so my relationship with him was it was always there. And
Right.
also his will for me was always circling back. Like I had my grace and favor was always available, because
Right.
he wanted something from me.
Right.
But it wasn't until I lost my mentor, and at that same time I was going through a divorce. I was 26.
Okay.
I was like, nah,
Yeah, but
I'm
nobody.
good on all of that,
Facts.
praying, all of that faith. I
So
trusted
much.
myself with everything. I played God on everything.
Okay.
And I was getting, that's where survival mode.
Mhm.
I felt like I had to survive everything, and I was
Right.
figuring it out, and I had to survive that because I was
Right.
playing God.
Right.
Right.
I had my own will for myself, but it looked like I can get through it, but there was nothing for anyone else. I
Okay.
was
Right.
serving myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would say, me playing God before my encounter was my situation.
Mm.
I always knew God. I grew up in the church too. My grandmother is my bishop. But we think we can hustle and do things ourselves and we can figure it out. We
Talk.
got this. We're
Yeah.
good. Oh no, this
Two
is a
of the
good
biggest
situation.
hustlers right
Yeah.
here.
Right. You know what
Yeah.
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 So it wasn't until I had this encounter, which I'm like, God, I've been doing this without you. Like you've been here. I pray, but then I pick the stuff up that I'm giving to you and I'm doing it myself.
Right.
God was like, yeah, so it's about that time. And I
Right.
feel like over the last 4 years is when I really got to know God for myself. I made the relationship personal.
Right.
It wasn't just like, oh, read your scripture, read your Bible, pray at night and then, go about your
Which is what people kind of like try and do to engulf that feeling of being close to
it's a
God.
relationship. Just like I would build a relationship with you or with my friends, I would you have to build it with God.
No, so let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're in a space of turmoil or trauma,
Mm-hmm.
how hard was that? That the discipline of having faith in that connection.
It
And
depends. It depends, and I don't want to answer for you,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
can only
Right,
speak.
right.
I can only speak for myself. It depends on how still you're able to be.
Ooh.
It
Okay.
depends on how
I have
still
a
you're able to
saying
be.
right now.
Oh, good.
My
I'm saying?
feet are cemented
Talk
and
about it.
standing still.
You feel me? Because like
Cemented. Like, nah, God, if it's not you, I don't want it. Give me
100%.
wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and discernment to decide, like, is it you or not? Because if
Right.
it's not, I don't want it. I don't care how good it look, how good it feels.
Are you
I
the
don't
type
want
of person that when I hit you, did you like ask God, like, can I do this?
I was in prayer prior to, not specifically like that moment, but I just was in prayer for being able to share.
Wow.
So
It's
Being
real.
I was God's call to you.
okay.
No, not me. Don't do that.
Okay.
God, it came from me.
Okay.
Nah.
No,
You
I'm
know,
gonna keep.
hey, come on.
Hey, she coming
You
at you
get
like
what I
I be
just
coming
said
at you
totally
now.
different. Like,
Yeah,
trying
she
to
coming
get-
at you
don't
like
take
I
it
come
that
at you
way.
now.
But nah, for real. Like I feel like,
but nah, seriously,
Yeah.
it depends on how still a person could be. Because for me, like I'm not the uber religious person, but
Right.
you
there's a
feel that you
saying,
have a relationship.
that you always come back to how you were raised. You always come back to what you know. You know what I'm saying? And for me, like I realized that God got me through my toughest moments. I realized that He got me through them long after I was through them. You know what I'm saying? Long after I was through them, because when I was in those moments, I was reading the Bible like a novel. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't reading the Bible
I ain't gonna
for
hold you.
what it
That's
is.
how I was for a
You know what
while.
I'm saying? Like, but you
that's
got to
religious.
understand, like, because of human nature, we call on God when we need Him,
Yeah.
but then when we think shit is all right, then it's like we forget He's there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I've been in the space of having to behave with gratitude, even when things are good. Like thanking Him while the things are good, because I understand how I usually am. Because it keeps me in tune. Because like a lot of times, because I've had the habit of being my own God, like getting myself through things, figuring things out.
Mhm.
I have to like take a second and just be still and understand. Like thank you
Right.
for the ability to
But
do this, do
do
that.
we thank him while we're going through because we trust him that he's going to bring us out? Because that was my 4 years.
My favorite song is by Maverick City and Naomi Rain,
Okay.
where the song is talking about thanking him
Mm-hmm.
in spite of.
Right.
And like me and him kind of was just going through like something crazy at the same time, which is why God got us together like this.
Yeah.
And I had to fall in a space where I was just grateful
Right.
for the experience so to know that I was going to survive it, but to also know that like you got me in here for a reason,
Right.
and I'm grateful that you're going to get me out of this.
Right. Absolutely.
But like
But you gotta really have faith. Like people's biggest thing is that we question faith. And I think
Not
you put this in the notes. You said like you can't worry and like or pray and worry or something like that. Or
at the
have
same
faith and
time.
doubt.
you can't
Something like
worry
I
and
think
pray.
that's in Romans.
Yeah.
Actually check me out, quoting scriptures and shit.
Hey, talk
But
about it.
you can't
Yeah,
have
you can't pray
faith
and worry.
and worry. Too many times we call ourselves in this place of faith. We call ourselves so devout.
But then we're
But
tested.
then we're tested and we worried and we anxious and we're nervous and we're on the brink of falling apart.
I was just listening to I think it was Tony Evans talk about how I forget who it was in the Bible. I'm not that
Go
keen either,
ahead.
but he was walking out. God said, come. He was on the water. He brought them to the water on the boat, and he said, "Come, walk on water, walk to me."
I mean, he
And his
doubted.
first step was good. He had the faith,
And he turned around.
and out of nowhere, ye of little faith, because you
I
just
believe
become
that's
human.
yeah. I believe
Mhm.
that's when he called during the storm. He called Peter off
Yeah,
the shore
yeah.
to
He was
come
like,
walk
yeah,
to him
yeah,
when he
yeah,
was
and
fishing in the
He
boat.
read it like a novel, remember? He read
yeah.
it
I'm
like
No,
saying
no,
I
it's
was
cool.
that's
It's
my
cool.
man right
I
there.
was
so,
I was
so,
raised in the church.
but
You know what I'm
the
saying?
craziest thing about it is that's how I feel a lot of times. Like I'm ready and willing in
Mhm.
that space where like that first step I'm good, and then it gets real.
Yeah.
You start to observe
That's
like
because you're leaning on your own
on humanity,
humanity.
yeah,
Yeah.
like my
So
flesh.
You
Like
know,
start to pay
and
attention to the
sometimes you
wrong.
know what it is. Is sometimes you start praying for shit and then God actually gives it to you.
Okay, I'm gonna
And
need you
then
to stop cussing and
oh,
putting God in the
I'm
same
so,
sentence because
oh,
that's not
you
what we're gonna
see,
do
you
here.
see
What's
this.
crazy
So
is here's the craziest
This
thing.
is
yeah,
it.
He
woman
don't
of
even
God ain't
curse
gonna
like
take.
that.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
I be
it's
cursing
very
No,
sometimes,
no,
passionate.
not on the
but
show. You
yeah,
don't even
but not
curse
yeah,
like
It's
that.
very
That's
passionate
so
but
right there.
yeah,
And
crazy.
I don't
yeah,
understand.
I
facts.
thought he was gonna catch it eventually, but
Facts.
he
I was
hasn't.
like, okay, yeah.
I
So
force a habit. But nah,
I
you're
was
right
gonna let you.
though.
I
But nah,
wanted
you're
you to
right
check
though.
him.
But nah, you're right though. But seriously, a lot of times you pray for things
yeah.
and you want things bad, and God tests you by giving them to you. All right, you want this? Go ahead, have it. Now, what you gonna do with it? Like, there's been so many times that you pray for things, and then once you get them, number one, you don't display the gratitude necessary. You
You're not
don't.
prepared.
Yeah, you're not prepared, and
What
then
about
because of that,
Well, one of my favorite books is The Alchemist, and I say this all the time. He did a good job of displaying God in that book, in my opinion. He said, when you want something bad enough, the universe will conspire to give it to you, which I believe is God. Because God kind of like, oh, you want it? Okay, cool. But he'll also test how bad you want it.
Mm-hmm.
And that process of being tested, it kind of helps you question why you even ask for things. Because a lot of times the perspective of where you're asking for things is from point A to point B, and you forget like there's a lot of things that go on in between that
Or
process.
work to be done.
Yeah, and the person you need to be to have that thing you want
Yeah.
is gonna require either you go through the situation he puts you in to test you,
Mm-hmm.
for you to show up to it and own it, or for you to fold and be like, all right, cool, I'm not ready for that now. When you're ready, you're going to have to go through this. You're going to have to see yourself through this. And then you'll be the person that you need to be to have what you say you want.
Yeah. It could be, I mean, that's your perspective. And I also feel like there's a number of things. If it's God's will
facts.
It's a
for you to
fact.
have it, right? And if it is, are we prepared for what we're praying for or what we're asking for? And if we're not, and we keep asking, just like the woman that went to the judge and kept asking, he's like, you keep asking, I'm gonna give it to you. But we're not ready for it.
Right.
How do you know it's
Um,
God's will?
and how do we know? But because there's two things. There's permissive will and God's will.
Mm-hmm.
Permissive will because you keep asking for it. So I'm gonna give it to you. And by the time you get it, you like, oh no, maybe this is wrong.
Right.
Maybe I shouldn't have asked for
Start to
this.
second guess it.
Right. And then if it is God's will, I mean, if he's going to give it to you, I feel like this all the timing. And just like you said earlier, like standing still. I'm in a season of standing still. I know that I'm going to be gifted the things that I desire because I know it's God's will for my life. I trust it. I know in my heart that it is God's will. But the timing got to be right. He might be preparing him. He might be getting him ready for me.
Oh, you're talking about a specific thing.
If that's a specific, yeah. If I'm talking about like right now, okay, so I'm divorced, I'm single, and I know that
Are we
God.
talking about that?
We can go there. I
We
mean,
can- I
I
mean,
was
we
just
can
an
go there.
example.
Well,
It was an example.
it was almost
though,
like,
for
you
real.
know how we were talking about how you know what you want? It was
I know
clear.
what I want,
No,
but you don't know what you want.
wait. yeah, I know. Am I
Well.
ready for what I want? No.
Are you okay? So then that,
Respectfully, I'm not.
yeah. So
Are you?
yes,
Facts.
So why don't you have it?
I'm waiting on God.
Okay.
I know that I'm ready, but
Is
my
it
life is
God's
not my
will?
own.
Right.
Check
So
me
hold
out.
on.
Check me out about to quote the Bible yet again.
Hello?
But faith without works means
Is
nothing.
dead.
So now,
Am I putting myself out
you
there?
have the faith. Now, but are you putting yourself in that position?
Yes, I am.
Now, let me ask you another question, because what we do up here predominantly is we delve into the mental health aspect of Black men, right?
Mhm.
So now, as a woman of faith, as a woman who knows what she wants,
Mhm.
You
now
okay?
to tie, yeah, because I gotta know. So
Okay,
now to
let's
tie in,
I
what
think
we
I know
do
what
in
you're
mental health and the mental health of a Black man, do you know how to be a man's piece and still wear all the hats that you wear as an entrepreneur, as a mother, as a woman of faith? Like,
Yeah.
do you know how to be that woman that can be a man's peaceful space and then still be the boss and the ferocious leader that you are outside of the household?
Yes.
Like, say that with confidence, but
Yes.
a lot of women sure. I'm
You
sure
know
a lot of
why?
women will say that with
There's a
confidence.
process, okay? There was a process. I didn't wake up and be ready. I didn't wake up and just say I'm wife, right?
Right.
How did you feel forward that?
What-
How did you feel forward to that?
Oh,
knowledge?
so there was a process, and in this process, number one, I had to know that God will gift me as wife.
Right.
Me knowing that Kiana can be this entrepreneur, this boss, this mother, whatever other title he gave me, but also knowing how to be submissive to a man that knows how to properly lead.
Yes.
Right.
You know the hardest thing for a man is to actually respond to the value of a woman he says he wants. Because a lot of men want that
Well,
woman.
it takes a lot of confidence in the man.
I don't think it's just confidence. I
No,
think it's
well,
the
you
ability to
finish,
kind of
bro.
like, well, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
So go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, mm-mm.
Because for me, it's like the confidence. That's gonna be clear because to get that woman.
But
of value,
sometimes what happens when like there is this woman that wear many hats and have, this boss, right? and then this guy comes along, what if you're a little intimidated by the roles that she play outside of home? Because maybe you have a regular 9 to 5.
True.
I live it. I married it. So nah, I keep it a
You know what I
stack. I
mean?
mean, it's it's very telling how a man responds to that, because when you're, especially a black man, because when you're pre-programmed, like I said, to be that leader,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
a tough pill to swallow, to know that your wife makes more than you make, or that your wife wears, you know, a plethora of hats
And
outside
then
of the
understand
house,
how to be the leader in
and
that
know and
space.
still know,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? That's something that you gotta be.
And then it's a man of God too. That's
But you
one
gotta
other
be,
level
My
of
God.
but
leadership.
you have to be a certain type
But
of
here's the thing.
confident.
And
though.
we
Yeah.
both know what I'm talking
Yes,
about.
we do.
But
Because
then you
I said,
have,
yes, we do.
understand, you have to be a certain kind of confident.
And it's also the woman's role to make her man feel that confidence. in the home.
100%, 100%. But
No.
check this out. Check
No.
this out.
affirming me is cool, but you're affirming the version of me that I believe I am.
Where you are
Yes. Or where I'm going.
and where you going. If I see, so I'm wife. I already,
Yeah,
I
but
would,
you're not going to give me confidence, though, is what I'm saying.
no, but I can add to it.
Yes. You being you is supposed to add to it.
Yeah. So
Like,
don't
the
ask me
value
if I'm
that
ready
you-
to be wife. Yes, I,
think-
I
am.
know. I'm just a question. I'm
Okay.
not saying
No,
that
you
you.
But
asked me.
yeah,
Not-
well, I think that you, I think
No,
that a
I-
woman is
It's the
supposed
angle,
to.
it's
Well,
the
I can
angle.
speak
Right,
for,
right,
right.
I can speak for my relationship. My
Yeah.
wife gives me confidence,
That's
and it's
good.
not, it's a adding to the confidence I already have. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a certain kind of confidence that you have a certain level of support, because when you try to go out there and lead, and when you try to fill that position as a man in a
Mhm.
household, and you do it by casting entrepreneurial lines, you're not always gonna strike gold.
Right.
There's gonna be a lot of times you come up bust. But for a woman to stick it out and see that your greater days are to come based on the effort you're putting forward,
Mm-hmm.
and still nurture that, that's, a lot of women have that. A lot of women say they want
Yeah,
that.
they do.
But a lot of women don't have it,
Right.
because if a man doesn't have it
I
now,
don't know too many women that are there that have that issue. I think.
So I think every home is going to be different, though.
Yeah, of course. So
yeah, but you don't. That's the thing. You don't know the issue that.
You know?
That's the things. We don't know these issues that we have
Right.
until we're presented with them.
all right. So I'll say this: I've never
what I'm saying?
dated a woman that's equally yoked to me,
Mm.
and being a leader was always easy.
For you,
And I've never been, I've
Okay.
never been challenged in that way. And they've always made more money. It didn't matter to me.
But
Mhm.
isn't
It
that
wasn't
kind?
about
Isn't
that. It was
but,
about.
But is
I
that
had
kind
the
of?
stature to be able to run my home because I had a better relationship with God.
But is that? Hold on a second. Is that telling of the type of women you're courting?
No.
Because if you hold yourself in a certain,
Yeah.
hold on. If you hold yourself in a certain regard, if you hold yourself in a certain regard, is it
Yeah.
possible that maybe
Kiana
you
is unpacking.
you understand, you want something
it's for
that's
Kiana.
already, it's already, handpicked. Like, you're already the leader because they're in a way not your equal.
I know that.
Yeah, that's
I'm
what I'm
talking
asking.
about. The understanding I got.
But
from
I'm
that.
asking you.
Hold on. I've always wanted the woman that I can value and that makes me have to change levels to lead her. Because I've never had to be like on point with my relationship with God. As a matter of fact, when I went through my divorce, I realized a lot about my relationship with God was necessary. And I would have never gotten married if I had a better relationship with God. I would have been fine.
Oh, so it's the lack thereof your relationship
Yeah.
that caused you to walk through a divorce.
Well, I was actually signing papers, so I didn't want a divorce.
Yeah, me.
Okay. You've
What-
been
what-
divorced.
what-
Wait.
I don't,
'cause this-
did I walk
I don't
hold
know.
on.
I mean, listen.
So question.
I don't know
let's
what
do
wheels
this.
are turning in his
Let's
head
do
right
this.
now.
I know, this is
can't,
crazy.
I
Can we
can't-
go
Yeah, I have no idea what's
Next.
going on right now.
Have you ever left a man because you were unhappy? You brought me here. so
I know
okay.
you really did. You okay? I would honestly say that I probably had to walk away, um, not because I wasn't happy. So no, I never had to walk away because I wasn't happy. I had to walk away because their walk with God wasn't right.
You weren't happy with the walk with God they had. So essentially, you
All
weren't happy.
right, okay.
It's not like you're looking
it
for an
wasn't, like,
emotional
for
thing.
me.
It was a
Yeah.
conscious thing.
Yeah, it
logical thing,
wasn't
which is
for-
very rare for a woman to make a decision that way.
Why?
Based on society, they say women
Okay.
don't respond logically to things; they respond emotionally to things, especially in that way.
And that's been my thing too in this season. Forget my feelings. What's the logic behind it?
oh, we're gonna get along real well. So
Yeah, because
how
it's not just
Nah,
about
no,
the,
like
it's not just
forget
about the
these
how, it's the
feelings.
why. We
have
were
you
just
ever
talking
had
about
a
that.
man leave you because he was unhappy?
Probably the divorce. He said that. Well, can I?
You
Yeah,
We
can
go there.
go
Oh, we can
ahead.
do
We're
that. Okay.
unpacking.
I don't think
Please.
he would. And we speak. It's all love. Um, thank God for that. But he couldn't do both. Like he couldn't work and be a married man.
That's so odd.
So
What do you mean by that? I
that's
don't.
what was
Yeah,
given to me. I didn't try to unpack that. I didn't. I just said okay.
couldn't work and be. I'm a little confused by that, and I don't want to be the guy. Like I don't want to
Nah,
be.
nah. I'm
I don't want to be
saying I
Usher
was
from
thinking.
Confessions
All right,
right
so I'll
now and
say
like
this.
kick
Belong.
men's
When
back
I
No, I
got
and shit.
when I
But I don't
I'll
understand that.
I'll throw that what I think I hear in that.
Yeah,
When I got married, and I think I know what he's talking about, and I don't think it was
I
like
do too. But go ahead.
I don't think
Oh,
it
wow.
was a I
I'm
can't be a
interested
married
because I.
man.
And entertain the life that I want, because
I
that's
don't
what I
know if
think
it
it
was
was.
that.
But
Well, then I don't know who he is. But well, I'll say this: when I got married, I was young, and I just started to figure out entrepreneurship.
okay.
Coming from having an F on your chest and trying to figure out like life and sustaining a lifestyle for yourself, and then taking care of a woman and a child, having that responsibility. I sat down with my ex-wife and I said, "Listen, I'm going to be working a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We have no one else to depend on but
Right.
ourselves. I want you to understand that I don't know what this is going to mean. I don't really know how far it's going to go, but I'm going to be busting my behind.
Right.
I would leave at 4 a.m., come home at 10:30, 6 days
PM.
out the week. Yep. Well, that's a corny work day if I'm coming home at 10:30. That's a great work day actually.
If you're making
if
enough
you're making
money.
enough money.
Yeah.
But no, I was working a lot, and it was getting to the point where I was more focused on my responsibility than the concept of the relationship.
Yeah.
So I couldn't work and be married at the same
I
time.
mean,
was
keeping
too young
those
to say
hours-
something like that.
But
Right,
keeping
right,
those
right.
hours,
And
you
I mean,
couldn't
obviously-
sustain a
if that's what he
relationship
meant,
anyway.
but that's kind of
It was
what
close
it
to
was
it.
for me.
Yeah, it was close to it.
And
I
I'm
feel
gonna
like
tell you why.
Well,
Because, well, I'm happy he made that decision. And a real man if he made that decision, it was because he wasn't happy. He wasn't happy in the sense of what he was giving you or what he was able to provide.
yeah, and I saw the try in him. So that's why, I just accept that God, if it's okay. Like I don't have any hatred in my heart against him. It's just something that I have to walk through and heal. So that's what it
Have
is.
you healed?
Were there moments in dealing with the
This
divorce
is the
that you
last 4 years.
started to question yourself, your own worth, your own value, and maybe your walk? Have you ever questioned your walk in those moments? Like maybe because you said
You had to, because
his
marriage
no
is
way.
his
something
walk
that you
might not have been right, but
have.
maybe when you're evaluating somebody else's walk, do you say, "Well, am I walking wrong? Am I doing it wrong?" Like,
I definitely questioned my relationship with God because I knew that um, I was like, God, maybe I didn't hear from you. Like maybe I didn't listen.
right.
Maybe you're trying to tell
Maybe you
me.
missed
And I
something.
just like, whatever. Like it was the feelings, right? Those feelings
Sometimes
again.
it happens.
Right. And it's okay, and I'm grateful to have walked through that, healed through it, and be able to help somebody along the way. Because we don't go through for our own. So I'm here now, and I know that it was to get me closer to God.
Facts.
It was. It really was. And do I wish it could have been a different way? Absolutely. But it's okay. I'm here.
All right, so it's funny you say that because right before I got married, my best friend, he said, "Are you sure you want to do this?" And he's not my best friend.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Yeah, well, no,
no,
I
not
would-
that he's not my best friend.
Yeah,
I'm just
but that's
saying
not the
at
best
that
friend
time.
in the
Yeah.
No,
moment.
he wasn't around for that.
okay.
Actually, probably would have been like, "Nigga, don't do
Don't
that."
do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Depending on
person
what
I know
year-
him to be,
Depending on what year it was, I probably wouldn't have been around for it. Because I was
nah,
going
I don't even remember. But no funny, when he said that, I was like, I mean, it's like I have to. It's the next. It's the only like.
Next best thing.
It's the next thing on the list of things to do
Right.
in this relationship.
I love that.
Right.
Yeah.
The maturation of the relationship
based
was
on
that.
based on what you're
yo,
taught, based on what
I'm raising your child.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm taking full responsibility of that position in her life and his life. And then I kind of don't not want to I want to do it,
Mhm.
but I'm not paying attention to the person I'm with. Paying attention to the idea of
So
what
the
I'm doing.
obligation and the
It was the
obligation.
idea. It was
Yeah,
just
and
the
don't get me
responsibility.
wrong. I thought of marriage probably the same way as her. Oh, we're gonna be happy. We're gonna be
We can
together.
figure it out.
We're gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the life I was trying to have, I had to drag them along with me.
Okay.
And the life she was trying to have was, I wanted to be sitting still. I wanted to chill. I just wanted to be out of my mom's house. I wanted to be able to be my own woman.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
you want to do
Didn't
too
have the
much.
same
Like,
drive.
I
Right.
wanted,
Didn't have the same drive and
so-
ambition.
but I knew that.
Right.
I knew it the whole time. I was moving too fast, and she was just riding along until
Mhm.
she got married, and she thought things would change,
Mm.
which is what women tend to do.
But see,
That's
this is
when-
why, this is why we got to remember that marriage is a ministry. So before we even get married,
I was unyoked. There was no that we didn't that wasn't clear.
but I'm saying prior to us getting married, we
Right.
should have those hard, raw.
Should have
sit-downs
already
in our
unpacked.
life.
Should have sat down and unpacked
For
together.
real.
No,
And
you-
you like,
real.
oh no, I don't even want that though. Like, and
Yeah.
I don't either. All right, so then no, this don't
This
even
is not
work.
gonna work.
And you gotta
We
make
went
a
to-
hard decision
Yeah.
to walk away.
What is it called? When you go to you
Marriage
take,
counseling?
not counseling, the thing you take before you get married with your church. Oh, what's it called?
What?
Basically, we took classes before we were married.
Oh, like premarital.
Premarital classes.
Yeah.
We lied our way to the whole thing. We were actually on the
Really?
same yeah, because there were things she didn't want to unpack, and
Mm.
there were truths about our relationship that we didn't.
So God was
she
speaking
was
to us.
really,
you know,
really,
he speaks
really
to us.
sensitive.
Yeah,
You
100%.
speak?
And
You
most
see,
of the
he was
time we missed
speaking
the writing
then.
on the wall.
You have no idea.
Most of the
Y'all
time we
lying.
missed the writing on the
You
wall.
have no idea.
Facts.
It took me way too long to get over something that I did not even like.
Mm.
Yeah.
And then my last relationship,
Because you thought you thought it was yours. You thought you needed it. You
Yeah.
thought it was something
It
that
was
was
no-
real.
Because it was the
Also,
next best
it
thing,
was
like
the-
it
you
was
just
also
said on the list.
the space of my spirituality. I really thought I did something wrong in terms of like my like I was paying attention to my walk with God to that extent.
Okay.
Like I felt like, yo, dude, this is not what I want. This is not what I understand. This is not
Mhm.
how I was raised. Like
Mhm.
I'm signing this paper because first of all, hardness of heart is the only justification for you to allow divorce according to the Bible.
Mhm.
And also according to
Or physical.
I was just
well,
about to take it there. I was about to
yeah,
say,
let's-
as two
let's be
people
clear,
of
let's be
faith,
clear.
how do y'all even
be
justify
clear.
divorce? I was just about to ask
Let's
that.
be clear.
I was
That
just
wasn't my
about to get there.
circumstance, which is why I spoke to
Or
it
like-
that way.
Yeah.
Because no, that wasn't the issue. The
Okay.
issue was hardness of heart. She was not even trying to do counseling, bro. So I'm sitting there
Fine.
in that space where I'm trying to understand, like, how do you make a decision to be in a marriage that you don't want to be in, and then have to like let go of the fact that you ain't really trying to be with her anyway.
Yeah.
But you are upset about how it went, upset about how God put you through that whole experience, almost 10 years.
Yeah.
But essentially, yeah, the idea is I don't understand why it takes so long to let go of something that we know we wasn't supposed to have.
Well, you do know why. You know what it is, though? We just don't connect the dots because we always talk about the whys when it comes to other things because it makes sense. But really, the reason why it's hard to let go of these things is because we still men and we got pride. When we commit ourselves to something and we're like, yo, this is what we're doing and this is what's for me, and then it doesn't work, it's because you
Level of
messed up. And
expectation.
as men, we don't like to admit when we fall short, especially when we fall short in the view of other people that we love, people that, we care what they're, as much as we say
the
we
view
don't
of
care what
myself
people
more
think
so.
of.
And then there's also
about you?
like
Yeah.
there's also, every woman's dream is to get married and have this like, lovely home.
And there's a checklist as to when you're
yeah,
supposed to
like,
do
oh,
it
I'm
by.
getting married and I have a big ring and I have whatever. But then there's also the part where
Big ring, damn. Just a ring. Just a ring.
no, I can have a man. I can do a tattoo. Like literally, I had the weddings already. Give me the marriage for real.
Right.
Like,
Facts.
please, Jesus, just give me
Talk
the
that
marriage.
shit.
I had
Oh,
the
sorry.
weddings.
I cursed yet again. I apologize.
Give me the marriage. We have these beautiful weddings. We have these big rocks or whatever. But then the marriage is a fail. So I
Give
was
me the
gonna-
foundation. Give me
Yeah, like I want that.
facts.
Like I want the solid, like, we in this. We gonna do what we gotta do because we love it and we love each other and we want this. We want our marriage to work. And so I feel like sometimes with women, it's
Do you
fighting us.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Do you think in a marriage the love is always there? And the reason why I say that is because you and I, just before we started airing, we was
Yeah.
talking. I said my parents been married 50 years.
Yeah.
Now I've only been on this earth 39, so I've witnessed 39 years of their relationship.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, there's moments when I feel like they made the decision to thug it out.
Yeah.
And maybe the love wasn't quite there, but it's like the decision that we gonna get through this together
Yeah.
is here.
Yeah.
Whatever's gonna become of it is gonna become of it. And because of that,
That's the
now we
maturity of
looking
their
at where they are.
Yeah, I don't know if that's here today.
Thank
Is it
God
not
didn't
here
get to
today, or
do
is it just a cultural thing,
No,
like
no, no, no.
not in the
It's
United States
so
of
like
America?
I think
You know what?
Because I might
I
be right.
think I think there's a sense of they put God at the center of their relationship, and I think
That
when
sounds like to
I
me.
thought about
I
that
think
divorce,
I
thought
think the prayers. I don't know if this sounds crazy to y'all, but as people of faith, it probably doesn't. I think the prayers that was around them
yeah.
made it work
Okay.
more so than their own prayers.
That's also Bible though. Like my faith can work for you.
Facts.
It can hold in
Bro,
something.
how you
But I'm
think we
saying I
doing
say
this?
that because my grandmother, the matriarch of our family, is probably the most devout person I've
Oh
ever
no,
met
I
in
speak
my
for
life.
that. Yes, I know that's some of my grandmother's prayers.
And I was raised with the notion that prayer could move mountains.
Yes, it
And
can.
I'm telling you, like, I am a firm believer that, like, as much of a person of faith that I do not claim to be, I know that the prayers of my grandmother, my mother, my sister, my aunt, those are the reasons that I made it through those 12 years. They're the reason, 100%. Because the decisions I was making prior to that, life could have been over in an instant. Like in an instant. And I'm not talking about time here I'm not talking about freedom life. I'm talking about time here on earth life.
Yeah.
It could have been over. You know what I'm saying? And to come from where I came from and to choose the places that I wanted to go and then actually go there, it's like, bro, you're ill prepared for this shit. Like you're not prepared for what you're about to do. But still, I chose it. God gave me everything that comes with it because I had a moderate amount of success, if you want to call it, because you have the dollars, you in the strip club, you popping the bottles, you doing all of that goofy stuff. But then I also saw the other side of it, where I went to prison, spent a lot of time in prison, watched people come, go, come back, watch people die. You know what I'm saying? And then to come all the way out to the other side and to know that my faith was wavering the entire time, it's impossible to think that I did it. It's the prayers from other people.
Yeah, grace and favor.
Sorry, I believe.
I mean, I am 100%, 100%.
I'm like-
But I just don't. I'm not. I have
You create a narrative behind
yeah,
that.
but
I'm like,
I have
why?
I have a particular feeling
He goes to church.
towards faith.
He
I-
knows the
What did
Bible.
God do to you that makes you like not claim Him? Like
Nah,
with
he
the
does
full-
that. He does that. Nah, he does that often. So he's
It-
not
it-
doing it because you hear.
It is.
Oh no, I'm not saying
it-
you
it-
should not do nothing because I'm
No,
here.
no. It is not. First and foremost, I don't not claim God at all.
Okay, but like this, is like,
What because what I don't do is because of my own particular walk with God,
Mhm.
I don't like when God is thrust on people. You know what I'm saying? And I understand I'm in a conversation with two other believers right now.
Mhm.
But what I'm saying is that's not normally the footing I stand on. Like I do understand the premise of we're supposed to bring other people to God. I understand that premise. But my whole thing and my whole life, and maybe the prayers of those same people is starting to come to fruition because I've always said that's not my thing. And people always look at me and say, yo, you're gonna be a minister one day. You're gonna be a pastor one day. You're gonna be a deacon. And I'm like, nah, because I'm not even trying to go to church on Sunday. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying no
That's
way I'm
real.
gonna be the deacon because I ain't gonna be there. You know what I'm saying?
No,
But
that's real.
but
I think
I'm not a fool though,
think,
because I know
you're standing behind a version of yourself that you no longer are. Like there's like you're having that
Facts.
same conversation.
the unlearning that we spoke
Right.
about. You're still trying to unlearn
Right.
things.
You need to unlearn how to.
But as I'm unlearning things, I'm becoming more vulnerable in these spaces. So I'm talking about these things more, but I'm also becoming what the goal was initially. I'm becoming a better man because the way that I do things, the way that I move, like 3 years ago, there would be no way me and you shoot a podcast in Manhattan and my wife stay in the condo in Connecticut because she wouldn't trust me to be here. She would not trust me to be here without her
I love
being
your
here.
wife.
But I'm saying I'm keeping it a stack. Like
Yeah.
doing these things, like putting my energy in a positive place. Because idle minds, devil's workshop. Right here, I go with the Bible stuff all night. But I'm not even. That's not even me.
Listen,
Stop
because
saying
Pastor.
that.
I'm calling
Yeah,
it.
listen.
I'm
So-
listen.
Man of
so
God,
so
you better
our
stop.
narrative, it allows us to sustain that same behavior.
Facts.
Once you just drop that from that, because I know why you're doing that though.
Because it's
Because you
not-
don't want to be, you don't want to seem like the example.
It's not
That's
because I'm
why.
not the example.
Yes, you
I'm
the
are.
not.
problem is,
I'm
He
not.
can use you.
Ex-
I'm far from
You're
the
the
example.
perfect example.
No, I'm
actually.
far from the example.
No, what do you think an example look like?
that's a weird that
Like
you
I'm
say
like,
that.
wait, what?
Well,
You want to know
just-
why that's weird?
it's-
Because you
it's-
know that we are in a wandering space because we
Well,
know.
that's the thing. I'm still wandering, and that's what we talked about kind of in the last show that we were here. Like when you become a wanderer and like you don't know, like I'm just casting out these lines and these positive vibes and hoping that God.
Scriptures, just
you know
say
what I'm
scriptures.
I'm not casting scriptures. I'm saying that like I'm being positive. I'm living from a positive perspective, whereas I harbored so much animosity towards life for so long because I didn't take my own actions into accountability as to where my life ended up. You understand what I'm saying? So because I harbored so much anger and animosity, I didn't reap any blessings. But now that I'm in this space where I'm sitting here talking to A every week and we talk on the phone almost every day and I'm able to kind of vent and I have that release valve where I could kind of let go of some of that anger. Now my approach to the world is completely different because I don't have to walk around with this FU attitude towards everybody anymore because number one, it's not warranted. Number two, you catch more bees with honey than you do with vinegar. Like it just a kind word goes a long way. And
you
if
know,
you
you're saying
give
that you can stop doing what you're doing in this conversation for a reason, but you're not doing it. You can stop.
but I feel like I am
think that
doing
you
it. It's
just
just a
need to
slow
totally
process.
Yeah, but
surrender.
at the end of every
slow
statement you
process.
make, but I'm not. But I'm not. You know, it's like you don't have to say that.
I'm doing this. I'm giving positive, but I'm not trying to be like
Nah,
For
you
me,
are.
For me,
because you don't
remember
want
what we
to
talked
be.
about before
You
we got
never want
here?
to be the person that seems.
Nope. I'm
wait.
No, I'm
what?
not with that.
What are you about to
Not
say?
with that.
Listen,
Not with that. You want to know why?
I've been because I've been the guy on the receiving end of a lot of conversations. You know what I'm saying? But over the years,
But God is not a transactional God. Like you just have a relationship. Don't worry about how you're gonna get it, if you're gonna get it, how you're being in this season. He's gonna be God whether you are good or bad. He don't love you no different.
And
or less.
there's no way
That's real.
you're not
So,
going to project
like-
him anyway. Like this, you're doing it without like you're
Well,
trying
that's
you're
the
going
whole
and
thing.
retracting. You're
Yeah.
going and retracting.
I
like,
literally
try to
just surrender.
You try to project him, but you try to
Surrender.
project him, but you don't
Surrender.
want
Surrender
to
to the
preach.
call, bro.
Surrender.
People like that. I try to project him, but I don't try to preach. I don't want to preach.
Well,
Well, you wait. What's a preacher? Because you're preaching right now.
No, stop it. You
Somebody's
see,
gonna
you
get healed through
see,
this.
she sounded my sister now. Now you sound like my
Can I-
sister.
can I
My
say
sister's
this?
gonna
Can I
see
say
this
this?
episode. I'm like, oh, I like her.
Can I say this? Can I
I
say
like your
this?
sister too. Hello.
Can I say this? With everything else I talk about like how I retract, like the same way you're doing it.
Facts.
You tell me not to do that. You tell me to own it.
Yeah,
Own
because
it.
it's
because
it
that's
feels
who
like
you
being
are.
around you. That's your energy. It feels like that's like I admire that about you because it's like that's your energy. That's what you're here to do. Like you are here personally to do that. To like,
What are you here for?
I'm not sure yet. I'm still trying to find out.
Well, you tapping into it, my brother.
You know what I'm saying? I really
We're
don't know.
wandering the other
That's
way.
for sure.
Yeah.
That's why. But stop trying
I'm wandering
to
away from exactly what we spoke about, from
identify
what
with
I
the
used
old
to
version
be.
of you. Yeah. So stop at the end of every
You
sentence.
still
You're
try to
identifying
unlearn.
with that.
Yeah, you gotta try to unlearn things,
It's
but
almost
it's
like
hard
just
to unlearn
release
these
and
things.
just let God be God in your life. Like, don't try to control certain parts because you don't want to look like or be this certain person. You don't know what you have on the other side of that fear or whatever that's keeping you back from being your full potential and being bold in your walk. It doesn't matter. Like, who cares? I don't know if it's for somebody or personally, but just be you.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. That makes perfect sense, and I appreciate the advice
Yeah.
more than anything else.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
How do you identify the highs and lows of your day? Like, are you the type of person that, like, if you're having a bad day,
hmm
it kind of stays bad?
No.
So
Like,
do
I'm-
you identify the highs and lows of your
Yeah,
day?
I mean, we have moments. So I was always taught, have your moment, but don't stay in it. Like, you can have your moment, Like you can say, okay, this is I got a phone call and I'm having the moment and I'm angry or I'm hurt or whatever, right? Take your time, take your second, right? My thing is, God, I gotta go pray real quick. Let me go. I gotta step away from wherever and take a moment with God and just my thing. I say this all the time. God, I trust you. In the middle of the thing, whatever that thing is, I'm like,
I got pulled
God,
over
I
the other
trust you.
day, and I said that.
Huh?
I said that the other day when I got pulled over.
Oh, God,
And I actually had to because there was actually nothing else to do.
no, right?
But like
okay,
it's like I trust you because
yeah, and then
everything I
let
got going
go.
on, if this don't go the way it's supposed to go, I can't even think about it. I trust you. And I just sat there. I just chilled.
Yep.
I just chilled because there was nothing else I could do. And I started to learn. Like even when one day I had a stomach bug and I threw up. I haven't thrown up in over a decade.
That's like me with the headache. I'm like,
And I'm like, the first time I threw up, I'm like fighting it. You know how I don't know how much you throw up.
I don't throw up.
If you
Yeah,
ever
go home
threw
and throw
up,
up.
like that feeling of your
I don't
body.
know how much
I
you
don't-
throw
like,
up.
every
Once a
day.
week, you know.
Oh, some people, I literally had this conversation with 3 people and they were like, yeah, I throw up all the time.
Oh no.
Okay, that's fair. But nah, I realized when I was throwing up, my body was trying to do something I didn't want to do. And I'm trying, like I'm
You're trying to
unconsciously
suppress it.
Fighting against
Yeah,
it.
you're
Yeah.
suppressing
such a bad experience because of that.
Mhm.
So after I realized, yo, this has to happen, bro. Just go through it.
Right.
Instead of like, oh God, why? Like, you know how you get
Yeah.
in those
Yeah, fact.
I was like, you know what? Let's stay here. Let's
Yeah.
keep throwing up.
Right.
And every time I had to, I kind of helped myself and it stopped being such a bad experience.
Yeah.
Right.
Like in the sense of
So-
as traumatic and dramatically bad as it was the first time.
Yeah.
So we can apply that to whatever we go through in life.
Every time. Like it's never going to be as bad if you don't fight against it while it's happening.
Right.
Like just acknowledge it and like, all right, what's up? Let's get through this real quick.
Right.
And it's done?
Yeah.
That wasn't that bad.
Because that's how I looked at this. Like when I walked through this whole process, the day one, I'm like, all right, God, I know this is about to hurt, but I need you, and I can't do without you. And I went through it. Now every day wasn't what.
I don't know how you did
We
that. Like that's crazy. Like
Well, I'm here.
When I say how, I mean
In that
people
moment.
don't understand it as I did it. You know what I'm saying? Like I
No, I did it. No, I did it. I did it. Therapy, godly
Okay.
counsel.
Okay.
My circle was tight. I didn't have people, telling me to do the worldly things. It was like, well, the word said, Kiana, let's pray. Did you fast? Get in your closet. Take your time. Have your moment. Overcoming over.
Mm.
I had that. I
Now-
had it.
Now,
that was the list of things I was referring to.
Yeah, like you
Yeah.
have to have your stuff.
Yeah, that's what I
Whatever's
mean. Because
your
a lot of
stuff.
people hear I did this, and a lot of people pay attention to the transformation and not how you used it.
Yeah, so I got on social media, and you wouldn't know unless you were in my life and in my circle that I was walking through this, because I was taught you cast all your cares unto God. It's not gonna look and feel easy. You're gonna have to
Never.
fix yourself up before you get on the camera and before you do this and before you
Every
go
time.
outside.
Right.
Every time.
Every
Before I got out my car, I was patting my face, I was crying, I was doing what I had to do, but I did it.
Right.
I got in front of my girls, and I walked in front of my girls for years without them knowing.
Yes, yeah. Now let me ask you a question. Now, in those moments where those are the lows when you step away and you're like, I gotta pray and I'll have my moments.
Yeah.
But how do you know when to stop celebrating the highs, like to come back down, to keep yourself grounded? Like,
Well,
you
one of my
understand?
prayers is just, God, I don't care where you take me, how you take me in life. Please allow me to just remain humble and to be touchable.
Right.
But I will never stop thanking God for his goodness.
Right. No, I would never suggest that you stop thanking God. That's not what I meant. But I meant like when you live in one moment too long, sometimes you could miss things. You could overlook certain things, and like you said, everything has its time. You know what I'm saying? So when something good happens, you live in that for a second, and then you got to get back grounded. You got to get back into that walk. You got to get back into that day-to-day grind.
Yeah.
So is there a time limit to that? Like, is there a way that you bring yourself
You
back
can't
down
time a
to
moment. No, you can't time a moment. Some might hit harder than others, some might be lighter than others.
Facts.
You can't time it. But
When you
gotta-
change levels, the moments change too. Like,
Yeah.
cause like you're like every new venture she took introduced her to who she needed to become, and it might not be as easy going into this new venture because she's foreign to it. And like you this right here,
Yeah, understood.
you know what I'm saying? I'm literally because we're walking in faith, bro.
Yeah.
Everything we've
Yeah, I
done.
mean,
'cause
facts.
I say always have an open mind, a mind open to everything, attached to nothing, and
Mhm.
allow yourself to just be ready for every moment, but no, don't expect anything from it. And
No expectations.
yeah, none. The law of detachment and allowing yourself not to be disappointed or to fall short of what you expected, so you could pay attention to.
But when you walk a certain walk with faith, you ain't gonna have to walk with certain expectations. Like especially when we
Well, I'm walking in
God got you.
expectancy to God for God,
God got
not
you.
the world.
okay, facts.
Yeah.
Well, I just just wanted clarity. I wasn't
Yeah.
arguing.
I'm not gonna pump
Just
fake
wanted
like
clarity.
I'm clear on that all the time, but
Right.
Oh no.
like the moments where I'm like it's really hard and I'm like I can't pay attention to the heart. I'm not even built to do too much sobbing and reflecting in a way where I'm sad about something. I need to know what this moment is. I ask God all the time, like, what you trying to tell me?
Well, he said he won't leave you in the dark, so
Nah,
he'll give you a little glimpse.
a glimpse.
A little
Sometimes it
something.
don't feel like he gave you.
Well,
anything.
sometimes when you're tested, the teacher's quiet.
Yeah.
They just roam the room, you
It's
know?
funny. That's why you gotta remain a student, right?
Yeah. I'm always gonna be a
There you
student.
go, bring it back full circle.
That's why you
funny.
gotta remain a student.
Yeah.
Because when the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
Yeah.
And it's like that unlearning process is part of being a student too. So it's one thing to learn intentionally or to seek knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
It's another thing to intentionally unlearn as a student and being prepared to like come out of your habits, like the one habit he has of saying the same thing after.
Oh, I
like,
got a ton of bad habits. That's just the one that's on display
well,
tonight.
yeah.
Tonight.
But
Yeah.
imagine,
Tonight.
imagine,
Yeah, that's just on display. for
imagine
now.
if you acknowledge all having people
Well-
like us around too would help. But imagine if you acknowledge those things.
Well, I
Well,
think
well, I'm starting to, and that's why life is starting to open up the doors that it is. You know what I'm saying? Like because it's slow
Mhm.
going. It's slow going. It is. It's uncomfortable. Like we always say, like it's uncomfortable when you start to unpack and when you start to deal with things. So because it's uncomfortable, it's a slow going
Yeah,
process.
I just feel like sometimes people don't like to be held accountable.
Most times, people don't like to be held accountable.
But it's a good thing that, you're being held accountable.
Oh, 100%.
That was strategic,
Yeah, but see, the thing is, that's actually
It's like
kind
kind of pull it out of you.
that's actually the premise of this whole process. If you do not, you can't be introspective without holding yourself accountable for something.
So I think like sometimes I'm like really like I have to check myself. Like, are you being held accountable or are you just being extremely hard on you?
You got somewhere you want to be?
No.
Are you hungry?
Starving.
Cool. Make sure you're good. So
I'm kind of hungry too. Since we mentioned
sounds
it.
personal.
Engineers
so the thing
hungry
is,
as well. So
I think because it's crazy.
Are we going to eat?
Yeah, we're back on the podcast.
Okay. Okay.
boss
so-
make sure everybody
Okay.
eat. That's what they
I
say.
thought
in
you
the
guys
rap
heard my
songs,
stomach.
dude.
Yeah,
You heard it?
everybody to the right of me.
Oh.
I was like, look.
So
Like-
nah, but
I'm here.
nah. So I feel like we talked about that one
Mhm.
time where like he's like, I think you're too hard on yourself, and I said, I don't think I've had enough people holding me accountable for me not to play that role for myself.
Do you feel like you have people that are holding you accountable now?
100%.
Yeah.
Because
It was different before.
I've sought out those better relationships.
Yeah.
I understand what a relationship is for now.
Right.
Like a lot of times people have nostalgic relationships,
Mm-hmm.
Like just hang on to people
Yeah.
because they've been there
relationships
for a
where
long
you
time.
know you
Mhm.
get your
Or just
this,
insecurity
like,
for
you
years.
get your
and we just
oil,
been
not your
there.
gas, like
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like you
People
like,
that's gonna affirm you no matter what you do. Like
Yes,
no matter
people.
what.
I call those yes
facts.
people. I would say that
Trust me.
in this season of my life, all of my people are holding me accountable.
Nah, I actually I don't have. I think also I isolate myself from that level of relationship with people.
Why?
When I was growing up, I was just that guy. I was a loner, but I was very well known at the same time.
Okay, I would say that for myself now. Like I don't mind doing things by myself. I'm always probably alone. But you have that circle.
I think I didn't understand relationships when I was young.
Okay.
My mom was a very hardworking woman.
Okay.
So to understand and I'm talking about relationships with people in general, because I didn't like authority at all. I was the most insubordinate person you can meet.
Mm.
And it had nothing to do with being cool. I didn't trust people and their opinion
Okay.
with anything.
Okay.
And I really thought I was probably one of the smartest person in the room all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be a man. I always wanted to be a man
Mm-hmm.
because a man was missing. And so instead of asking people, the only person I ever asked questions to was my mom. And
Okay.
she always said, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So my curiosity came with experiences.
Mm-hmm.
I went and chased experiences.
Mhm.
I behaved according to me trying to figure out who I am, what I can get away with, what I understand about myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did not have an understanding of my childhood as a friend, as a person that
Okay.
knew what it was like to have someone like me for me and
Mhm.
support me and push me to the next level. And then the people that kind of finally came around and stuck around, I realized, I don't relate to none of them
Mm.
outside
Okay.
of the things that got us to connect.
Right.
Yeah.
Nostalgically, I do not relate to none of these people. And I was
Mhm.
like, yo, God, I need better friends.
Mm.
And slowly but surely, the people that were willing to stick it out with the idiot in me, the child in me, the immature version of me, and saw
The potential.
the
in you.
potential
Mm-hmm.
and loved me for who I had in me
Mm-hmm.
and who I wanted to be too. Because I think Greg knows who I want to be, and he doesn't allow me to be any different, which is why I get to hold him
But
accountable
see,
too.
so I feel like that's an issue of mine. I always, and this is personal relationships, business relationships, people who hire or whatever. Um, I always see the potential in the person, and I fight for the potential in the person.
More than they fight for it themselves.
Yes, and it bit me in the butt multiple times. And I'm like, but no, I just see it. If you could just do this and just be like this, and if you do this, I could. And it just didn't
It's
work
because of
every time for
how
me.
you deal with yourself. So,
What you mean?
because
For the person?
nah,
For me?
yeah, because I think
What do you mean?
when I got an employee that works for me right
Mhm.
now that I feel like he should be a DJ. For the last, he's worked for me over the course of 10 years. Like I've had two different businesses he's worked for.
Okay.
Hired and fired him a lot,
Mhm.
but I believe in him as a person.
Mhm.
And I've always told him like, yo, you can do so much, bro.
Well, I'm like, what did I miss?
I don't know this person.
Okay, okay, okay.
I'm new to
Okay,
this.
I'm
so
like,
go
yo,
ahead.
you could do so much.
Mhm.
And he's doing the opposite of so much. He's doing too much of the wrong things. And it's like, yo, bro, you got me. I'm right here. If you want to talk. And he's just now starting to figure out.
But what you said that you looking at it like,
because I know when I'm veering away from my potential, which is why I'm hard on myself.
mm-hmm.
I don't think people get to have those conversations with themselves. So when we're having them, it's like wind. Like they just hear it, but they're not doing it for themselves. At that level, I'm affirming him when I say, yo, bro, you could do X,
Right,
Y, and Z.
right.
And if he doesn't believe that about himself, I'm blowing in a balloon that has a hole in it back.
Right. So that's why I said it bites me in the butt. Because I love to see a person, or to find out that a person has a gift in a certain area. It's like, I'm like, oh my God, you could do this. I got the sources. You could do that. Blah, blah, blah. We can make this work. Boom,
right.
boom. And then
How
it's like,
long did it take, bro? Literally.
what?
He's here. It took almost 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah, well,
No, but
yeah.
then that doesn't work for everybody. You're
Yeah,
here.
because I didn't think. You see, for me, I have a very particular journey, but for us to get
I
here,
love
it
him.
took for us to
Listen.
get
The
here.
narrative, right?
Listen.
For us to get here, it took me losing what I'm used to. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, meaning,
I think we all lost something.
yeah, but I have a job I have a good job. I have a job that could be a career if I wanted to be, but I'm not really sure if I want it to be. But either way, I have
What
a
did
good
God
job,
say?
make good money, and I live in the gym. But for me, I got hurt. So once I got hurt and I couldn't be in the gym anymore, like A just kind of pushed the challenge on me more. Like, you can't be the bodybuilder now. Like you can't be an ironworker. So what else do you have to offer the world? So like, so it challenged me to kind of hold myself accountable for not only the story I have, but what it could mean for somebody else if they heard it.
Right.
So I do understand that. I do understand it completely. Sometimes it takes a little bit for me to like come into that though, to like own that, you know what I'm saying? Because it's a new space for me to be in.
Yeah.
You know, so there's a little bit of ambivalence there because it's uncomfortable at times.
How often do you think God felt? Jesus felt?
How awful?
Often do you think Jesus felt that way? Because you know
About me?
no, about people he was trying to help.
Oh,
That he saw the potential in that. He was like, yeah, how many people
I mean,
felt
he probably feels like that about me too, because you know, you sit on certain things and you say, you know, but
you know what I mean, right? Like feeling like you're being bit in the butt is the nature of serving.
Yeah.
Like you right?
No,
like,
I'm a true and faithful servant. But I feel like, you know, it's just God keep my heart right in the process. You know, allow me to still love them the same, even for the lack thereof, walking in their full potential. And I just do it. Yeah, I just check my own heart because I can't make a person be ready for what God want to give them. I can see it in them, and I can be the light and the angel that God brought the person, you know. But I can't make them, and I can't force them to drink from the well.
Right.
I can carry them to it. I can carry them to it. I can show them the way. I can even
how long do you stick around
ignite
before
the
you
plant.
if
I mean,
they're
the
not
idea.
if they don't live up to it or if they don't live and see that potential, how long do you stick around before you say, you know what, my energy is misplaced here?
I think that every situation is different. I've gone all the way through certain situations. I've gone all the way through with certain people, and then they get right to the whatever, and they get a little distraction, and it's like, yeah, they all the way back to square one, and it's like, okay, well, God, I did my part.
Right.
It don't take away
you've ever
from.
been in that position where someone's tried to pour into you and try and create that space for you to believe in yourself and your potential?
So I grew up.
Rejecting it?
Yeah, I did. I grew up rejecting this walk, but and I've heard that my
Singer?
why.
Yes or no?
Wait, why?
Well, it's one of those things where I gotta tell you why.
No, tell me why. I need you to tell me why
I'm
right
asking a
now.
question or why you a singer.
Why did you ask me am I a singer?
Because people sing, and I want
No, come on. Don't do that.
I think you sing, so that's why I'm asking.
Oh. You scared me.
Wait, no.
God
Now
is
you gotta tell
literally
me what's that about?
mommy.
What's that about?
God is literally speaking through you because that's one of the things that people
kinda-
keep saying. Like,
I know, that's-
need to like. Why aren't you doing that?
I know.
And I'm
that's
like, I
why-
want to, but I don't know how, and I don't like.
Can you?
Wait. Pay attention to everything you did
Oh my.
to get to where you are.
Yeah.
Did you ever do that with it?
Like I don't know how. I don't know. Squirm.
Yeah, it's kind of
Square 'em
you
up
kind
in
of
the-
doing
Yeah,
what
I'm like-
you just kind of broke me down for.
Yeah.
No,
Just
but
so you
see,
know,
I'm in a no, but I
accountability
will.
factors.
Yes, and I love that. Talk to me, like for real. Give it to me. But I've said because my daughter, she would say, "Mom, just take lessons." Oh my God, Mom, would you just like you need to be singing? And so this year, I said, God, if it's your will, allow me to start. I will do it. Like I won't let fear
That's dope.
grip me, and I won't let stop me from doing that. And I think that one of the things I heard recently, and it's a small little piece, but it was like somebody said, "Well, what do you have to say?" And I was like, "Wait, huh? Like, wait, what we doing?"
Right. Yeah.
And I'm like, "No, I can, and I will. I don't know when or how, but I will." And so I'm in this season right now of like complete obedience. If God opens that door, I'm taking it full
Yeah,
throttle.
because you don't want
full
give
throttle.
the people that are putting that energy on you that same feeling that you have when people
Yeah.
fall.
But I was gonna say outside of that, before you asked me that singing question, I grew up hearing, "Oh,
Ministry.
yeah, you're gonna be minister. Or you baby bishop.
Man, yeah,
Oh,
I've been
you're
hearing that my whole
you
life.
know." And I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm going out. I'm doing this. I'm doing that."
Same thing I said.
And then he had
Just
this
say it.
encounter. I had this encounter with God,
And you are now.
and then I'm a reverend.
So you realize the whole.
But it had to be. I had to have an
Edification?
encounter. So I've had to be gentle with you because I know and understand. I'm just like being. I'm just busting your.
Oh no,
chops right now.
I knew you
Right.
were,
Oh, okay.
but I didn't know you were.
Yeah.
Because see how long it took for you to actually say that.
I mean, you asked. I'm not in a room
Wow.
throwing out titles.
I asked you to I literally asked.
Yeah,
what
that was
hats do
actually
you
one of the
wear?
first questions
What-
that
what-
we asked.
what-
Throw out
Well,
the
we here
titles.
now, and I'm saying
Throw out
it.
the titles. Like
Listen.
question number
the
one,
only reason
actually.
why I did that is because
Yeah.
I kind of knew all this. And
Okay.
The approach I asked you helped me with this because you just said you have this issue with trying to help people, trying to get people to see their potential.
Yeah.
How long did it take to get to the place where you know people were trying to get you all your daggone life?
This encounter.
So
I'm
this is
telling
what?
you this.
No. So it's 30.
I'm gonna be.
I'm
30.
sorry. Am I doing that?
Mm-hmm.
So,
It's okay. Yeah, it's all
but
good.
you don't have
I
to
don't
do the years
mind.
thing. Well, okay.
I don't mind saying my age.
Yeah, because I know, but you know what I mean. I didn't do that on that.
You did. you had to check yourself, so you know you did.
Well, yeah, because
Yeah, he
because
has
I
a habit
realized
of
what
doing-
happened.
He has a habit
I
of
did
doing
it.
that.
I
It's the
do it.
perspective
I
that
didn't
I
mean
know
it.
is received. I'm knowledgeable enough to know that, but you know where my heart lies with this. I want people to know how long it took for you to do it, because sometimes you're gonna get through a season with somebody, and for example, the young man that is working with me, that's figuring it out now.
Mm-hmm.
I've known him since he was 17. He's in his late 20s now. His kid is almost a teenager. I knew him since before she was born.
Everybody has their process.
Right. No. Well, you're speaking to that, and I think it's time. So having that feeling where you can still love them, I know what that feels like.
Yeah.
Because I got wild love for him, even though I've lost contracts because of him.
Right.
Even though I've lost money for him because of him, and I've still poured back into him, even when he called me, because you know what, I know that God blessed me with the space to be able to provide for someone that's in need, and who better than the person I know.
But the server is not always on the receiving end, so just continue to serve. Don't look for anything in return.
No. I know what I
You
mean.
know what I
Like,
mean?
I'm blessed to be able to provide that ability for him.
The intentions of the heart.
Yeah. Like, and
so do your part and don't look for him to fulfill
up
that
to-
whatever. You know what I mean?
But
and that's
the-
what I had to learn from my. I was
But it's the but
you
you're
know
human,
what?
so there's
I
a
felt it
disappointment.
coming. I don't know what that was.
It was a look.
But I
where
had
was
to.
like,
but that was
okay.
something I had to learn, though.
Okay.
You know, I don't know how. You said how many times. I don't know how many times I had to go through it. But now I'm here, and I'm saying, as long as Kiana keep her heart right, continue to serve and do what God tell her to do, I'm good.
That's real.
What's next?
I'm
Okay, you don't. We already know. Don't know.
I don't know. Like I'm still just like
yeah.
no.
When the album dropping?
Oh, I don't even know how to write a
Put
song.
you in touch. I got people.
Okay.
I know people.
I have a feeling you know how to
Well,
write a song.
they hear it here.
I have
I'm
a feeling
very
you know how to
serious
write
as
a
well.
song.
Then I just say that I'm
Okay.
If the opportunity presents itself, I will go forth.
All right.
Full throttle. Then I just say
Yeah,
that.
you did. And I'm
I'ma
gonna tell
make
you
a
right
couple
now,
phone
you know
calls.
how to write a song because of your reaction when somebody asks you what you got to say. Your reaction, the look in your eyes when you
Wait.
tell me
You
you
guys
got
are
a lot
He's
to
coming
say.
from you now. It's not me.
No, you guys are tag teaming. I find it like it's okay.
That's
But you guys
what's
are
up.
partners, so that's what partners do.
Mhm.
However, I like singing. I don't know if I can learn because I'm also a student. So if I could learn how to write,
Right.
I would love to write. Yeah, I don't
Do
want to
you
limit
journal?
myself. Yes, I have a journal in my bag too. Actually,
Are you planning on being an author? That's work. It's in the works now.
I want to.
This 1 hour and a half it deserves at least a chapter in a book.
Well, because you.
I think that I just gave a
She
chapter.
just kept giving us titles as we went along.
Yeah.
What was really going on with her?
An encounter, surrender.
It's crazy because I hear a book in you. I
Okay.
hear it. And I can't wait to read it and promote it for you. What do you think about the idea of like responding to that moment when it was time to write a book? Like I'm about to be an author. Like I have to start writing this book. Like how did you come to that?
I don't even think it was like I don't think I had that real moment. I think it was like more so it was already being written. I think that I do journal a lot. I've journaled a lot before this whole encounter with God, right? So I have multiple journals and
So you're a writer.
I love to write.
Oh. She likes to write. Just not songs.
You have to put it together. I mean, if we had a beat and you say, "Oh, that can go there," and that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that I can't. I'm just saying I don't know like how things go. Music.
How to
I don't.
arrange music.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that. So if I could be taught that, sign me up.
Well, they got people that do that. You know, you got
That
people.
write for
You got
you.
people that write for you. You
I
just gotta
know.
spill it out. You know, just talk.
I mean,
to
if
them,
you're
but
if you're the talent,
expound, you know,
that there's two talents there. You only really need to have one
To sing.
for the message to get out. You know what I'm saying?
All
As
right.
long as you approve the message, right?
Yeah.
I got you. I'm a
Okay.
songwriter.
All right. So let's do it.
I'm so lying, but I could become one.
Why would you? All right.
No, but I believe I could. I believe I have a book in me. Well, mostly because I've been told from a young age, like
Even
I
if it's
can't
just
wait to-
passages, every page is a passage with a little note.
I've been learning.
That's a daily. What is that?
like a daily devotional.
Devotional, a devo, and then write a note underneath. My daughter reads one every day, and I'll just look at hers. She do that
How's your relationship?
with my daughter.
Mhm.
Oh, I love her. It's like my
You
bestie.
have one daughter.
I only have one.
So you said I look. Oh, you met your friends when you said I look at my girls every day.
Oh yeah, my clients.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
my
okay.
girls.
All
They're
right,
my
all
girls.
right. I
Yeah.
thought you were talking about children.
I have a really solid relationship with my daughter. Thank God.
How old is she?
She'll be 19.
Holy smokes. Okay, so I wanna unpack some more shit,
Yeah.
more stuff now.
Yo,
Okay,
Okay,
19. Wait,
okay.
hold on. 19, single mother, 2023. How do you deal? Like, because I'm gonna keep it real. I have teenagers in my life,
Okay.
my nieces, my nephews.
Okay.
If it wasn't for those teenagers, right? Because I don't like teenagers as a whole, but those teenagers I like. But I try to
Yeah.
understand teenagers, you see, because as a teenager, right? As a teenager, looking back as a 39-year-old man on who I was as a teenager, I wouldn't have liked me either.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because of my demeanor, the lack of humility. You know, I was good at sports, so I thought that would carry me throughout life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you navigate raising a daughter in this climate, social media climate, body image climate? My nieces, I have 3 nieces, all under the age of 15, and they all know somebody who committed suicide.
Wow.
How crazy is that?
That's sad.
Like, this is the world we live in now. So, I mean, we talked about the hats you wear, we talked about the things you deal with.
Yeah.
But I mean, being a mother in this climate of a Black woman, that has to be one of the hardest things to do. No?
Yes, it is. Yes and no. I feel like that's like one of the best gifts God has ever given me, like to be a mom. My daughter, she's amazing. I have no like, you know how some parents can say they walk through this with it. No, my kid is really good. Actually, she's better than me. I pray God just let her be better than me, and she is. We have really good mother-daughter transparent conversations, and I always tell her in terms of like giving her body up. I'm like, that's the one thing you'll never be able to get back.
Facts.
You will never be able to get that back.
Virtue.
Never. So just be mindful, make wise decisions, pray before you do everything. You know, I tried to live that example,
Right.
especially when she was at the age of like teen age
Right,
and
right.
trying to figure things out. And it's going well. I mean,
I think I worry more,
good.
and I'm not trying to put something in your head, but I think I worry more just about the potential, because I don't know.
Mhm.
I've never seen a woman grow into that age yet.
Yeah.
You know, my nieces are still growing into that age, but I know that I did it as a young man, and my nephew's starting to do it now, where like that 18, 19,
Yeah.
start to smell yourself a little bit, start to think you're prepared, a little bit more prepared for the world than you really are. So like,
well,
how do you, like, you know, I mean, you have to wrestle with that because every kid wants to be independent.
I didn't have that. I didn't. Thank you, Jesus. God knew what to give me and what not. Okay, I'm just saying
Right?
that.
The battles that
Yeah, he just knew. He didn't give me that.
Okay.
My daughter, she's humble, she's sweet, she's very smart.
Dope.
She's in school now. She's in Chicago, so I'm an empty nester. But she's
you
doing.
say that as if you don't want your nest to be empty anymore.
I don't. If I could have my way, I would have a huge family. I would
Okay,
have
so
like
at
2, 3
39,
more
you about to have
children.
another kid.
I would love to have more children. I would love to be happily married. I would love to do what I'm doing now, travel the world. My kid just be on my hip, in the gym, on the floor.
I actually could see that happening for you, but
It's gonna happen.
no, me, I could. Well, I see
It's
it.
gonna happen. I'm confirming that. My daughter
Right.
was in the gym while I was in the gym. She was in the side with her iPad and her homework, and doing her thing, and I raised her, and I did what I had to do.
How long
That's
you been in
right.
that profession? I didn't want to talk about this.
I
but-
know. I don't either, but
No, I'm putting together something.
okay. I've been 16, 15, 15,
Oh, okay. Wow. And
2015.
where did you come from?
I was in accounting. I worked in JP Morgan.
Really?
Yeah, asset management.
Whoa.
And Ty? Well, not too.
Whoa.
Soup.
I wasn't expecting to hear that
Soup.
at all.
And then I went into accounting.
Nah. Hold up. We're gonna need another hour or something because you
I'm
ain't
so gassed.
hold up.
Bro, I did so
Now
much to figure out life.
now you telling me about all these hats you've worn. I have more questions about the baggage you've packed over the years. Because listen,
How did you,
you know, we
make
talk-
the decision?
hold on before you
leave.
even
My
answer
bad.
that.
Oh, I
Before
can
you even
tell you,
answer
that's
that.
all-
Before you even answer
Okay.
that. There's so much because the one thing I asked you when we started was like how you've arrived at where you are. You know what I'm saying?
He's mad.
I
And
feel like you
He
lied.
sounds
and no, I'm saying
Because
yeah,
I was
I don't think
waiting.
I don't think you lied. But what I'm saying is the journey as we
Right.
going back into the journey, and you know you divulging more. You know, if I have a lot of questions because I know how hard life
Ask
is
one.
for me, and I know that navigating this world as a black woman. Now, first off, we talk motherhood, we talk this, we talk the paps dying. Pardon me, but now I'm talking like being a black woman in a male-dominated industry. J.P. Morgan. Like, come on, like you sitting in rooms with white guys, the most entitled men in the world. That their impression of this woman is that she's automatically less than.
Yeah.
So, like your self-image, your idea of self-worth, your value, like how you evaluated yourself, had to always be either constantly on point, constantly in question, constantly being redefined. Like, talk about it.
Yeah, it definitely took a level of confidence that, could help me navigate through life. I definitely had to, you know, give myself those pep talks. I'm good. You got this. You can do it.
Those
You were,
affirmations.
you were built for this. Like he wouldn't put you here. Like he got you. So I felt like I had to really, really dig into who Kiana really was. And if God put me here, I got it. Good or bad.
That's dope.
Good or bad.
So
Didn't
that's
matter.
what you wanted to do?
No, it
You
just
wanted
came
be
to
an
me.
accountant?
I want to be a nurse.
Wait,
I went to be in the army. I was going to enlist, but then 9/11 happened. My parents was like, "Yeah, no, we're not doing this." My family was
Wow.
like, "Yeah, no, you're not going anywhere."
Wow.
And then, yeah, I went to be in the Navy
That
actually.
was right before you're 18.
So you-
When right before you 17,
Yeah.
9/11. Okay.
Yep. And then that happened. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to.
Well, nah,
I know
she's-
it was good.
Nah, September 11th is my 18th birthday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
9/11, 2001. I turned 18 that day,
Okay.
so I never.
Yeah. Oh, and
forget.
we're the same age. Okay, I got you. Oh, well. And then I went to school for nursing and took my daughter there too. She was in the back of my class or in the lobby while I was in class, and I was like, "Yeah, this is too much school, God. I can't do it." And he said, "Okay, you're gonna help people, but it's just not gonna be administering medicine, but you can help and assist people some type of way."
So you always had this space of
Serving.
serving?
I've always wanted. You see, Navy nurse.
A lot
Yeah,
of people
no,
are servants, but they don't see themselves as called for that. Like a lot of people are accountants, they don't see themselves as like helping people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
no.
They're chasing the bag. It's like I'm doing this.
But that was
'cause I
really
like
short-lived
I like
because-
money and counting.
No, but that was short lived because I left
Mhm.
to do this.
No, I mean
Oh.
it's in terms of like
But-
the general consensus of why people do things, which is why I realize I'm most grateful for my life and most clear about fulfillment when I'm in a serving position.
Yeah.
And I don't always like it because it doesn't always fit who I always thought I was supposed to be.
Mm,
So I had to start like
adjust.
lacking, like taking identities off.
Yeah.
Which is what I think this whole experience with you was. You don't identify as any of the things you say. You just identify as a servant.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that about you
Thank you.
because I hear that, see that, and kind of like feel how that's supposed to look. You know what's crazy?
What?
I don't know where
Being
you
a
where
woman.
you-
Oh,
my-
no.
Nah,
That pause,
being a-
that
Like
pause,
nervous.
Being
that
a
pause
woman-
made me hold my breath for a
Okay.
second. I didn't know what was about to happen just now. What's
Nah,
going
being a
on?
woman, being
You
a woman
alright?
of God
Yeah.
in a clear, concise space of not only who you are, but the freedom of allowing God to like push and pull you. What is this man supposed to look like?
Oh my God.
No, I gotta know because like this. No, let's be real. Let's be real.
He
Let's
did.
be
He
real.
did. He took it
be
there.
real.
Took it. Oh,
I'm just gonna play co-host on this
You
one.
wanna know why
I'm gonna be silent.
it's
and
because
just-
why are we doing this?
I don't know.
Most men like myself,
Yeah.
I have always wanted to find a woman in that space where I can see all the value.
Oh my God. I'm like fixing
And-
myself up because he might be watching.
Oh,
No, I can't.
it's
I like
possible.
promise you.
He's
Might be talking to him.
definitely-
I don't know.
Ay, Dios.
I don't know.
You did a lot.
I did a lot. I
Yeah.
said something, but
Okay.
But
But go ahead. It's
retract
fine,
that
it's
because
fine.
that's not gonna
Yeah.
make it.
It's fine.
Let me redact that from the record. I'm sorry. I should.
We got 5 minutes.
Oh, my
I was trying to go
God.
somewhere. Now you threw
You
all the
went
way
there.
off. Anyway,
Go ahead.
nah.
Lord.
What does that man look like? Because you said you know what you want, but you also know that God is going to provide the man that you need. Like he's going to provide.
I just want him to be a man that's after God's own heart. I mean, today, 2023 does not look like, oh, I'm in the church every day and I'm in a suit and tie. I just want you to be like a good man. Please be a good man.
It's even,
A good
I
man.
think
Nah.
I know a lot of good men, but I don't
No.
know.
Oh, you.
Yeah, let me know a lot of good men.
I was like,
please. I do.
cut that part. Cut that part. please.
No, I know what you meant by that. 'Cause
Right.
You don't seem to know a lot of good men. Why is that?
You're coming for me.
No, that response said it all.
Yeah.
Didn't do
All
anything.
right. Nah, I'm around a lot of.
Don't.
No. I will say this: I'm not around a lot of men, in general.
I know why, but keep going.
Why? Because you know why.
Well, why are you not around a lot of men?
'Cause I
You
work
go
with
to the
women.
gym- well, yeah, that's true, but I know you're choosing to work with women. You're
Yeah.
choosing. Okay, so
Well, this is where God had me so far. Like, listen, don't do this. Okay, let me say this.
Say that.
I will say this.
all right, because you are making a conscious decision to
Can we
take
take the
yourself
first
out of
question? No, like, what does this man look like? He's just gonna look like a man of God.
All right. All right. We'll unpack that probably somewhere else.
Okay.
'cause, yeah.
Okay.
All right. You know what you want,
Yeah.
but you're willing
Yeah.
to accept it's a good man of God.
Right.
Because you know that.
I'm a no.
Yeah, no.
I'm gonna know. It's
Or
gonna click in my
if
spirit.
you find a
Have you known
man,
before?
I don't know. I probably went through feelings. It was not my feeling. It was not God. It was me.
if you find a
It was my
man
own
that's a
pure
man of God,
entertainment.
if you find a man that's a man of God, but he's not where he needs to be, are you patient enough to take that walk with him?
As long as he know that he's not where he needs to be and he's on that walk, I'm walking with him
Say that.
all the way.
Say that.
Let's go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how does it look to lead from the back? Because that's exactly what
you're
that
gonna be
looks
on your
like.
knees you're gonna get up right before. We're gonna be a proverbial wife. We're gonna get up on our knees before he get up and that family get up, and we're gonna pray God order our steps and my man's steps as well. And I'm gonna be able to get up and affirm this man that he is good and he is right where he need to be, as long as he allowing God to order his steps. And if he's allowing God to order his steps, every step he take, good or bad, is going to lead him to where he needs to be.
Stay
And
the
I
course.
firmly
That's what
believe
we
that.
say all the time. Stay
Effective,
the
fervent
course.
prayer of a righteous woman is going to availeth much.
Check
Wow,
you out.
see, you say that a lot, don't you?
What, the prayer?
Whatever you just said, because it came
No.
out in this.
I've never said this.
Really.
I've never said that
Freestyling.
ever. Like, what does it mean? What do? No. Earlier you asked and I
Probably
said,
gotta
just-
pull your mic
oh,
to you.
Earlier you asked and I said, I can submit, right? As long as he's leading properly.
Yeah. Right.
But now we're in the back end, and I think just my role is just to be a vessel in my own home, since I can be a vessel out in the streets and on social media.
So you don't need the already made package.
I mean, I just listen.
Because this is what the people pray for.
No, so it's
Right?
nothing. Let me say this because let me
If
get
you
this.
pray for the already made package,
We
you
don't
probably
always
not
get.
gonna
We
get
never
that.
get the already made package.
No,
Hell
so no, because I feel like what if the already made package is like, stuck in his ways, don't want to bend, don't want to compromise. I feel like the one that's on the trajectory of becoming whoever God has him to be,
The
they're
flower.
willing to learn, they're willing to be open,
Yeah, wanderer,
vulnerable.
just going.
The
You
flower,
know,
yeah.
they're doing, you know what I mean? They're just moving with it. And so I feel like, we both will be in a place of surrendering and being vulnerable. And it helps the relationship. Because a lot of times in relationships, the men don't want to be vulnerable. They don't want to be able to unpack with their women.
Most times.
Some
Most
No,
times.
but there's a reason why they don't trust the woman.
or feel comfortable, and that's okay.
Well,
and
they are comfortable.
Comfortable, but not comfortable enough to be vulnerable.
Well, all right. So
comfortable and trusting is two different things, by the way.
They are
So,
comfortable.
like you
No.
could be
they're
comfortable.
comfortable with who they need to be.
Right, but like in
100%.
order to be like vulnerable, I feel like there's a level of security that has to be there.
Right. Sorry about that.
No, it's
And
okay.
emotional maturity, because when you have a chance to acknowledge a man's vulnerability, you have to affirm it too. It's almost like you got to allow him to understand that that's a man I'm looking at, and not a coward, now a complainer, not like, because this is what we experience when we get in those spaces and we reject that. I got to deal with women all the time.
yeah,
I be having
but-
to tell them like, I don't want to talk to you now. I'm good. Because you mishandled my vulnerability.
Right. But then what about my stomach? But what about when you heard it?
When it's
But what about when the man is emotionally unavailable, but the woman is like fighting for the relationship and wanting it to work?
Yeah,
what if?
Yeah, I know we ain't got too much time, but I mean,
I know.
But I mean, because he was on the front lines of me in my relationship in that space. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But being vulnerable and being as a man, allowing myself to be vulnerable and to be judged by a woman that I was interested in. And I'm going to say interested because I'm talking all encompassing. I'm talking sexually. You don't want a woman to look at you differently when you've already established some type of, rapport in some way. So we've already, established that we want to be together, or the version that we were showing each other. But now when she started peeling back layers, that vulnerability made me feel like I was in jeopardy of losing. Like when you start to reveal your true self, and your shortcomings.
It will only be that
you know what I'm
way
saying?
if they're not God sent. Because whomever you're gonna unpack with, they're not gonna mishandle that unpacking. That you did.
You're 100%.
But you're married, so you're good. But
I love that. I love that answer though, because I ran from it, and you know that, and it's
you're not gonna be a burden to the person that God sent you.
Yeah.
No.
Facts.
Okay,
No,
so then why aren't men that are good men married? Because
What if they
most
don't
of the
wanna be
good
married?
men are good because they're good looking, because they have the juice.
Yeah.
But that's not always clear.
Okay, well,
gotta have somebody like
both
both
what
parties gotta
about
be patient though.
So yeah, but
That's
I
what it's
also
about.
right, and I also feel like you can be the good guy and whatever else, you have the package. But then what about the woman that is on the end of like, I know you have this and I know you can, but like, why won't you do it with me?
Right. That was my wife.
Like, why I'm here? Like, I want you to try.
Why don't you
Want to
see
do
what's
this with
sitting right
you
in front of
because
you?
I don't think this is supposed to happen with you.
Okay. And so,
and that's what we
but
used
then
to
that's
talk about.
all right. But then that's
It's
good
like,
though.
how you know you're not like limiting the potential of having something great with somebody that could be the person? Because I kind of know now.
Right.
Like if I ain't feeling like, I just want to love this woman from a distance. I just want to do, like, I know when I can be a guy that I need to be,
right?
That's the woman I'm gonna go all the way to the end of the earth.
Well, yeah, I think I can only speak for myself, but I think that it has to be an organic process. Like that metamorphosis has to be something that even if you fight it, it's happening. Like I was fighting it, and that vulnerability, I didn't want to let it out, but because of the questioning and peeling back of layers, like it was inevitable. It was gonna come out. And whatever came out, like she sat in those rooms, in those moments, like
She's the
furniture.
one.
She sat there like, yo, whatever happens in this room right now, you could go to sleep, we can cry it out, and I'm still gonna be here in
Lucky
the
When you
morning.
wake
man.
up, that's
So
awesome.
Lucky man.
yeah, if not facts.
I'm
Stay
pretty
lucky
Super
though.
super lucky.
Stay lucky though.
You're
Yeah, because it's
blessed.
You
easy
heard?
to it's
Stay
I
blessed.
was about to let one fly. It's easy to mess that up. I was just say something else, you know. But been
It would
I've
have
been
made
checked.
sense.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm
I
edit.
need
I'm
to feel that
hey,
one.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was about to dig deep and start going crazy, but nah,
Well,
I'm
thank
I'm
you
gonna
for not
keep
doing
it.
that because I want to end this on a good note with
Yeah,
Kiana.
absolutely.
Please ended it on
Kiana,
good with
listen,
me.
I really appreciate you joining us. You're a
I'm honored
beautiful
to be
soul.
here.
It was it's important to have this conversation. You helped us in a lot of
Mm.
ways. Notice, I think things that like the conversation we've been having is that God is just leading us towards our true purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And this is such a reminder of what our stage is supposed to present,
Mm-hmm.
how we're supposed to present ourselves as well. And I appreciate you coming up here and talking to us and having this open, like,
Yeah,
I'm
I
honored.
appreciate you coming up here and unpacking. Like
yeah,
It was a lot.
you really did what we asked. You understood the assignment,
I
and I
did. I
appreciate it.
came prepared. I didn't
Yeah,
know.
I
I was like,
appreciate
God,
that big time.
please.
Not for real.
No, but I'm good. I was, happy to be here.
It's a big ask to ask people to be vulnerable for us, so we definitely
Yeah.
appreciate
so
it.
you learned a lot about her. So you can follow her on social media, which you probably do already. Or um, you have you have outlets that you present
Yeah.
for people to be a part of as far as the community is concerned. Can you just share with the people like what it is, and you don't have to share like what's about to happen, but just share what you have, so they can look forward to it or look for it.
One of the areas that I'm working on right now is just moving with God in ministry. And I know that it's not going to look like your regular church. And I know that's not going to look like your regular, every Sunday service type of deal. But I just want to be a light and share light and hope that people can walk with Jesus.
I like
That's
that.
it. And so God allowed me to create this space called Space. And it is a curated space to experience the presence of God.
Wow.
Because there's not one way of worship, right? And there's not way to minister or to talk about God. And so whether it's a song, whether it's through a scripture, whether it's through a testimony, I feel like, the people will need it. However, it's given at time, and whoever come at that specific curated space at that time, it'll be for them.
Keep being a blessing.
Thank you. I'll try.
That is really dope. It's a very dope mission, and I wish you all the best with that. That is very, very,
Whew.
very admirable to
Thank you.
want to create that space for people.
Thank you.
Well, our name is Aaron Easton, aka Mr. Always Good, Never Bad.
And I'm Greg Figueroa, aka Felony Fit.
And before we leave here, I want you to understand that you have to allow your actions to be guided by love, your thoughts to be rooted in peace, and your life to always, always mature in happiness. God bless.